The Simpsons season 33 so far has impressed me a great deal. Initially capturing my interest during the epic A Serious Flanders two-parter, I felt it was an exceptionally crafted parody of Fargo. That, in my eyes, just did everything right. Spoofing the series at honors, it didn't drag or feel like it was a direct carbon copy. It felt well edited and a celebration of what cartoons are able to evoke now, artistically and technically. In fact, that speaks for the entire series. It just feels so jam-packed full of meaningful footage. There's actually very little couch gags in the entire series, and that often indicates that there's some good, hearty episodes in there. The series so far has an incredible balance across the board of stories that highlight key players as well as secondary characters. These are characters who I felt were almost becoming parodies of parodies. Smithers' love life is finally being taken seriously, as was Moe's, and Fat Tony was used brilliantly in a Maid Maggie.
Welcome to the family.
The series brought together our familiarity of characters of Springfield and interweave the world's love of gangster films like The Godfather.
The what?
You know, the movie, The Godfather.
Never heard of it.
References, of course, we've seen before, but this one felt far more special. I mean, you can't depend on a typical stereotype to carry an entire character, especially one we've seen for over 30 years now. This reintroduction to Fat Tony's character really made us see the heart behind those hollowed eyes, especially when he cared for Maggie.
You stole my heart, you little criminal.
You could just tell that the writers had so much fun with this, and that Fat Tony may just be the greatest godfather. But it's no secret that Fat Tony is one of my favourite characters in The Simpsons. I just love him, so maybe I'm just being a bit biased. Another thing I love is Nordvpn. Yeah, I know, smooth transition, right? Nordvpn unlocks content not available in your country. For example, for anyone in the US with a Disney Plus account, you don't have stars available, meaning that you're missing out on tons of content, like Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, and American Dad. But with Nordvpn, just switch to the UK server and voila, you've got access to hundreds of episodes of animated shows. It works with Netflix too. In the UK, I've been watching Studio Ghibli movies and I was shocked to see that it's not available in the US Netflix. So all you've got to do is simply switch your server and up they come. And the great thing is that you can use it on up to 6 devices. To celebrate NordVPN's 10th birthday, simply go to nordvpn.com/Simpsons Theory to get the 2-year plan with an exclusive deal, plus 1 month free and a bonus gift too. It's also risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee, so just click the link in the description to give it a try today. Season 33 deals with a range of relevant issues, but in a way that doesn't feel dated or desperate to feel relevant. There's body positivity, pensioner vulnerability, and celebrating the LGBTQ+ community in a doting but fun Springfieldian way.
Do you like my top?
Yes, he seems very nice.
One of the points why I feel that people are so connected to the early seasons is the simple storytelling of very human experiences mirrored through a cartoon. In some later episodes, I feel that the story is taken away by trying to pile in as many cultural references, side gags, or simply very zany scenes in a way to try and engage with us. But at times it can feel kind of desperate and like The Simpsons is playing catch up when for so many years it was leading the cartoon world. But don't get me wrong, there's no doubt that there's some amazing episodes within those latest seasons, but each one of this season absolutely slaps, I think, every single time. Which brings me to my favourite episode of this season so far, Pixelated and Afraid. Homer and Marge set off to a marriage healing retreat by Bart and Lisa. This is after the kids feel their folks have lost their mojo magic. all whilst the pair sit on the sofa looking the happiest they ever had. But anyway, back to the story. On the way to their retreat, not fully understanding why, disaster strikes as Marge and Homer are swept off course and into the wilderness. Cold, wet, and on the brink of pneumonia, they decide to become naked and afraid. Working together to find warmth, food, and fight off some kind of Wolverine. It just reaffirms what they and we already know of them. They are made for each other. This is presented to us in a range of lovely ways in this episode. In one of them, Homer seems terrified of the Wolverine up until it turns on Marge, and his primal instincts take no mercy. The scene in which Homer hits the beast to try and get rid of him for good isn't even done so in a comical way, a rarity for so many shows now where violence is seen as yet again another gag. In this scene, Homer needs to do this. There's a real danger that they need to overcome, and he's willing to do anything just to protect his wife. Now, it's very easy for me to draw comparisons with other episodes, like season 9's Natural Born Kissers, in that they spend a lot of their time naked and afraid of being caught. I mean, even their car gets stuck, so they have to go and walk into a dangerous situation. But this episode, it feels very different from the rest. In previous episodes where Homer and Marge's relationship is the centerfold of the story, we often see them at a crossroads in their relationship and marriage. Whether it be their fiery passion burning out, Homer dancing with a belly dancer, Marge tempted by a guy with a bowling ball, or Homer with a sandwich welding redhead, the majority of the time there has been some kind of conflict or bad feeling before the beauty of their relationship is shown. But this episode just doesn't need that. Even in one of my other favorite Marge and Homer episodes, Simpson and Delilah, Marge sings oh so sweetly to Homer in bed. But even still, it centers around Homer's insecurity and sadness. This sweet moment stems from how she sees her homie, letting him know that even though he's bald, she still finds him beautiful. However, in Pixelated and Afraid, there's no big fallout. There's no sadness. It's a tale of a loving couple eager to live through a life-threatening situation.
I know together we can make a pretty world.
This episode is mainly focused around these two characters too. There's hardly any other characters in the entire rest of the episode, and without the distraction of the outside character arcs or intervening, this has to be one of my most favourite portrayals of their relationship out of the entire franchise. It just reaffirms what we already know or what we find out by the end of many Marge vs. Homer episodes, that they're just soulmates. From cuddling up and being gross on the sofa to eating chips whilst gazing out into the sunset, there is no doubt of each other and their love for one another. Homer even contemplates on staying with Marge in the forest over finding help. He admits this to her and she understands, but generally agrees that they do need to find help in the end. But you know what? They take their time doing so, gently appreciating the beauty around them as well as each other. It doesn't even feel like a relief when they seek refuge, because we know they've had it all along.
I guess we could walk slowly.
We always do.
The last scene was so effective in that it was so simple. Simpsons co-executive and producer Caroline Omine gave us some really awesome insights into the making of this particular scene, saying we almost added score to this sunset scene, but decided it was best just with the sounds of nature and chip crunching. Marge hugging Homer at the end kills me. It's a real rarity in a TV show to show a real happy marriage, and that speaks for The Simpsons too. There have been so many episodes where Marge and Homer haven't been the best spouses, but this episode, this was a breath of fresh air, and it was perfectly contained to their surroundings in the forest. I feel it was a physical and metaphorical stripping of their characters and everything that's happened to them over the last 30 years or so. I feel that the characters and our lovely little town of Springfield is getting the real resurgence it deserves, with well-crafted episodes from the writing, the music, the gorgeous animation, and the acting. And I feel it's the shift it deserves. Hermione summed this up perfectly in one of her closing statements about the episode, in saying it's one of the few shows where Lisa gets it wrong and the parents have it right. An 8-year-old cannot conceive that the ability to toss a dirty diaper to your beloved is proof that you have a deep and abiding love. An episode that takes of what we know of a character like Lisa and almost knowingly shows that she isn't always right, shows that it and the characters are growing and that they're exactly where they need to be. And you know what the best thing is that this season is still going, so there's plenty of time to catch up and watch the show with me. I loved doing this review, and I'd be thinking about maybe doing reviews of each season in The Simpsons. So if you'd like to see that a bit later on, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know which episode in season 33 has caught your eye and interest.